If you've never looked up your birth chart before, I strongly recommend that you do. It's so much more telling about your life and personality than just knowing your zodiac sign. It goes so much more in depth and so much more detailed into the complexities of your character. So if you have access to your birth time as well as your birthplace, please go ahead and visit the link that I have posted in the description of all my videos, where you can look up your own birth chart for free. And you'll be able to know where all your planets are in your chart, and you can come back to my channel and look at your placements. So today I'll be going over Mercury through each of the houses. What is Mercury in the birth chart? Mercury is all about how you think, how you communicate, your learning processes, how you learn best. It's about the exchange of information between any two people. It's how you absorb knowledge and how you choose to go about gaining information and gaining knowledge. It's really important in your chart because it's something that everybody around you sees and gets to experience on a very regular and daily basis. Basically, it's just how they talk to you and how you express yourself, how you express your thoughts, whether you are more of a logical speaker or someone who speaks much more from the heart. And I've actually gone through each of the Mercury signs in a separate video playlist, and if you're interested, I will link that playlist below as well as in a card in this video right now. So if you're interested, go ahead and look up your own Mercury sign, but today will be all about the houses. So what would it mean to have your Mercury in your first house? If you have Mercury in the first house, you're probably super smart, you're definitely thoughtful. Your thoughts and opinions are always just very much upfront. It's always just what other people see is what they get with you, and they don't have to wonder where you stand or how you're thinking, what you're wondering about. It's just always laid out on the surface. You're also an extremely curious person. It's like your antenna are always out 24/7, and anything that really catches your eye or your attention, you just always want to be craving information and learning and absorbing information from your environment. You might be somebody who really enjoys like talking about themselves as well, just talking about their life, talking about who they are, and like presenting their identity through words. They communicate who they are best through just verbally or just through written word. You're very inquisitive, you're always asking questions, and just very studious. You're definitely like a natural born student. You learn best by experiencing things hands-on and learning through your environment. With Mercury in the first house, you can also appear very detailed and meticulous with your appearance. There's a bit of that sort of restless Gemini slash organized Virgo influence with Mercury in the first house. You're very just picky and can be fastidious about how you appear and what people's first impressions are of you. And you can also have a very youthful appearance, or at least outlook on life. When people first meet you, they might think that you're younger than you really are, and it's because you have that like youthful, curious, inquisitive impression about you. Where you always seem so eager to learn, and you just seem like an eternal youthful student. And your appearance might always be constantly changing. You're always willing to try something new with how you appear, and whether it's your clothing taste or like the way you do your hair, or I don't know, just whatever it is that sets you apart from other people. It's something that could always be constantly moving and changing and shifting, and it's very mobile. You take ownership of your own thoughts and your opinions, whatever those might be. Whether other people agree with them or not, you stand true to them, and you have a very good idea of what your stance is on different topics or subjects. Now, Mercury in the second house, you have a very strategic approach to how you handle your money and your finances and your possessions. You can be very organized with how you handle your possessions. You might have very many multiple possessions, just more than the average person. Just you like to have little, I want to say little trinkets, like just surrounded by many different little objects. Just acquiring different random little things here and there is something that you might do. It doesn't necessarily have to be like big, huge investments, but just a bunch of tiny little things. And you're also very organized about keeping your possessions in order, and you really value and place high value on logic, on learning, on your own intelligence, and just on knowledge. You really value what you can get out of learning, and you really value exchanging information with other people and communicating with them. Your tastes also might be very changeable, similar to the first house, but with the second house it reflects more so like your artistic tastes and the type of like art that you value and the possessions that you surround yourself with. You're also very willing to try new things and just explore your own taste. Your choice of dress, your choice of artistic entertainment will be very changeable as well, and you can have like a youthful sort of choice of presenting yourself through the way that you dress and the kind of art that you consume. It's going to be very young and very playful. With Mercury in the third house, this is a very natural placement for Mercury. You are naturally talkative, and you're also really good at multitasking, just juggling so many things at once. Your mind is always off in so many different directions, and it's easy for you to hold many different conversations at the same time with different people, and like you have the mind for it. Your mind has the capacity to keep up with each and every one of those conversations. That's how agile, how multifaceted and just adaptable and flexible your mind is, and your speech. You can also have many trains of thoughts going on at the same time, similar to like how you converse with others, and same multitasking thing is also present within your own brain. So your mind is just racing in all different directions, and you might talk with your hands as well. You're very entertaining to talk to. You make one of the best conversation partners because Mercury is just so at home in the third house. As a kid, in your early learning environment, you were probably very curious and very just that kid who is always asking why, just like there was never an end to your questions. You were just always thirsting for knowledge, and your teachers might have liked you because of that, because you just never wanted to stop learning. Even as you grow older, you will still retain that like eternal student type of attitude, and just that willingness to always be asking questions and always being curious. You're just an avid learner basically, and you never stopped asking questions and just learning as much as you could about the world and about people. You need to talk and communicate with others in order to learn. You're not somebody who likes to like sit alone in a dark room with one light bulb, just like in your own studies, Just you need to be able to communicate and interact with others in order to gain valuable knowledge. It's the only way for you, basically. You need to always also keep moving, keep being mobile. In your daily life, you enjoy short trips. You are probably super restless and you won't be content, just sitting at home like doing nothing, because your mind is always racing, and your mouth is probably also racing too. So you probably like to make short trips here and there, just visiting friends, visiting the neighbors, visiting your cousin just on the other side of the town, and just talking to them because you like to be on the move and you like being mobile. You might have many siblings as well. You like to talk to them for sure and just confide in them, just share your thoughts with them. Growing up, they might have been good friends with you. You just found it easy to talk to them, because usually siblings are one of the first people that you are able to interact with growing up, and so you maintain that throughout your life. Whoever it is that you could talk to, like they were like the first person next to you that you could turn to just communicate with, and so you continue that throughout the rest of your life. Now with Mercury in the fourth house, you might have had two homes. You might have had split families, split parents, like split parental units. You were able to confide in your parents and just kind of see them as the first person you talked to about whatever was going on in your mind and whatever's going on in your life. They were the ones that you found it very easy to converse with and just share your thoughts, share your opinions with. You might have also been homeschooled. This was the area or the environment where you first started to learn about things, learn about your environment. So you might have been either homeschooled or your parents just like taught you at a very, very young age about life. You probably learned how to read very early on in life, or learn about your numbers, your ABCs. It was just learning was part of the home. Learning was not just for the classroom. It's not like learning stopped when you got out of school at the end of the day. You came home and you were always learning. You just continued to learn and communicate and express yourself. You have an inner curiosity, just an inner restlessness about you that, you know, Mercury has like a nervousness about it. So in the fourth house is like your inner self. It is your inner environment, your soul, your heart basically. And so other people might not see it, but just within you there's a very inner restlessness and almost even a nervousness. You had very many activities and hobbies that were going on at home. Within your family, you enjoyed trying new hobbies with them, learning new skills with your family, or just within the home setting. And you're the type of person who probably also keeps their thoughts to themselves. You're very private about what you think and what your opinions are. It's something that you mostly only feel comfortable sharing with people really close to you, such as your family or somebody that you live with. You might also be very curious about your past and your ancestry, how you grew up, what the family was like before you were born, what was it like when your parents were growing up. You're very much all about learning about your past, learning from the past too, and learning from your family's experiences. You probably have a really good memory too. There's like an emotional quality to how you think and how you express yourself. It's just very soulful and quiet. You probably think the best in solitude, just on your own, when you have time to like quiet your mind and be in your own private safe zone. You probably also enjoy journaling and, you know, going over past memories, going through like photo albums and scrapbooks, and just you're probably most likely the one who will write a memoir about your life, and just because your mind is always constantly like going over the past and going over your past experiences and your family and like how you grew up. Those are the things that really occupy your mind on a day-to-day basis. Now with Mercury in the 5th house, you have very many interests, very many hobbies, and just things that inspire you creatively. You have so many different inspirations, and your hobbies and daily activities and entertainment, modes of entertainment are probably always constantly changing. You like to try new things, and so having that area of your life be mobile is something that is very trademark of Mercury in the 5th house. You just love to learn and read and study and talk to people. These are your hobbies. Your hobbies are mercurial, and they are mostly revolved about gaining information and communicating with others and just learning from them, learning from books, learning from entertainment. You might like forms of entertainment like movies and books that teach you something that you can absorb like valuable information from. To you, that is a source of entertainment and just fun. That's your choice of way of relaxation, basically. Studying is actually really fun for you, and you might choose to study when other people are like watching movies and going to sports and stuff. You enjoy studying and just gaining that information. You also might be really, really fun to talk to. The 5th house is that Leo house, so your expression and your conversation style is just very, very out there, very adventurous and high-spirited, and you probably really enjoy telling stories and just making them as fun as possible to listen to. You probably enjoy studying theater, studying art, dance, and just learning about children as well. The 5th house rules over children, so you probably have an interest in studying about children and like learning from them, as well as just like talking to them, you know, seeing their perspective, asking their opinions. This also increases the chance of you having multiple children. You're just very curious about them, and you're very like curious to study them and study like childhood behavior. Might have very many multiple romances as well. You are definitely a flirt, and romance to you is very fun, you know, just flirting with people, it's nothing heavy for you. It's just very lighthearted and fun and playful. You might also find that you learn from your lovers, you learning from romantic, short romantic affairs. You see them as learning opportunities, and you also enjoy a partner and have the most fun with a romantic partner who is smart, who can teach you things, and who is also very talkative and very entertaining, just someone who's also curious just the same as you are. Your speech might be very dramatic. You can be really fun to talk to because of that, just because you're just so expressive and so fiery in your communication style. Very self-expressive too. When you talk, it's like that's when you have the spotlight, and people really pay attention to you. It's like you can use your speech as a way to gain the spotlight upon yourself. Now with the 6th house, Mercury in the 6th house, you might have many jobs throughout your life, just many like 9 to 5 types of jobs, like not careers necessarily, but just like your day job. You were probably very restless in your everyday workplace, and so this might have led to you being curious about different types of jobs and different places that you could work at because you were restless in one place. And mobility is an important factor for you when searching for a job, thinking of ways that you can help people and ways that you can serve and just be of service to other people. Your thought processes might not be so much focused on yourself and what you can do for yourself, but it's more so about other people, how you can contribute in the workplace. Your jobs might revolve around teaching as well as learning. Just again, like that exchange of information is something that you're going to want in your day-to-day environment, in your routines. Learning is going to be a huge part of your routines, or you're just going to try to make it a point to always be learning something new each and every day. You would do well in that type of job. It's just communicating with others, like training others, interviewing others, where you have that chance, the opportunity to meet new people and just communicate with them and share your thoughts and gain their opinion as well. You might have also had many pets growing up. You were interested in all types of little animals that you could care for, and studying them or just spending time with them, just like having them surround you. You love to incorporate small animals in your everyday environment. You see your coworkers or the people that you work with every day as an opportunity to learn from them. You enjoy learning at work and gaining information at work. You're always asking questions at work. You need to be able to be in that environment where you are encouraged to ask questions, and your boss doesn't put you down because you ask too many questions or because you ask like stupid questions. Your mind is just so open, and in the workplace you want to learn about processes and how things work and systems. You have that mind that thrives on systems and how things work. You're just very curious about that. So you need to be in a job where you are encouraged to learn and you're able to communicate and talk as much as you want, where you're also allowed mobility, possibly transportation. Probably like being an Uber driver would be great for you, just as like a 9 to 5 job, just because you have that mobility. You're able to like see new sights and experience new environments, and at the same time like just talk to people all day. It can also be very changeable with your routine. You do well with routines because you enjoy systems and you enjoy having an organized routine, but you're also open to changes in your routine. So you're very flexible and you're able to multitask in that way. You're highly adaptable. So if things don't always go according to plan, your mind is able to switch quickly between different tasks and like maneuver your routine so that it matches whatever the circumstances. With Mercury in the 7th house, you might be the type who gets bored with one partner. You might have many different relationships. I'm not saying that you will for sure have many marriages, many different relationships, but it does increase the chance just because you enjoy people so much. And like, let's say you had Venus or Jupiter or Uranus also in the 7th house with your Mercury, this is just going to increase it even more. But having Mercury in the 7th house, you like to experience many different people and see their perspective. You just have this thirst for knowledge, and wherever Mercury is where you are curious, as you've heard me repeat throughout this whole entire video, is just where you are thirsty for knowledge. And so you're curious about other people's perspectives, and only learning about one person and from one partner for the rest of your life is not really something that appeals to you. If you're the type who does like stability, you can easily fix this just by being able to interact with and learn from as many people as possible. You don't necessarily have to have permanent relationships, one right after the other, like a serial monogamist. You can just have that one person that you're with, that you're in love with, and just be able to talk to people and have as many friends as much as possible. Have that freedom to talk to and learn from as many people as possible, whoever they are, wherever you are. You attract people who are very talkative, very smart, and who are also curious. You want, first and foremost, a communication partner. You don't necessarily need like a romantic partner or like a lover, but you do need somebody who is open, who shares their thoughts with you and their opinions, and who you can just have a simple exchange with. And perhaps you attract people who are also very changeable, who are just as restless, who have like this sort of like maybe nervous type of energy, or a person who is always asking questions, somebody who is always like learning things and is a student. You yourself are very curious about other people. You enjoy learning about other people and learning their perspectives and gaining information from other people. The knowledge that you gain doesn't so much come from yourself, but it comes from other people, the information that they share with you. You also make such a good conversation partner because you have that ability to go back and forth so naturally with other people. It's not just all about you, not just all about your opinions or your viewpoints, but you're so eager to learn about what others have to say as well and what their opinions are, and factor that into your own perspective as well. Interested in equal sides of the equation, and having a partner who listens as equally as they speak, because you are doing the same thing as well. You're able to see both sides, and one perspective is just not enough for you. You see that as very limiting. And with Mercury in the 7th house, it's possible to have multiple perspectives on every subject. So it can be hard sometimes to see or to confirm where it is that you stand exactly, just because you are so interested in other people's opinions too, and so that can easily influence you. Again, you're interested in not just talking but also listening. You are very receptive of other people and very open. You make such a good listener, where I think Mercury in the 1st house is the talker for sure, and then Mercury in the 7th is the listener. You're just very considerate, and you want to learn from your partners and see what it is other people have to say, because you see it that your opinion is not the only one that matters, and you might enjoy taking up different skills or going to different classes together with your partner. Your relationships have to have that learning aspect to them, that curiosity, that restlessness, that just openness to learning and to just new information. Why learn about the world only by yourself solo when you can just go through it with a partner? With Mercury in the 8th house, you are very secretive, and your thoughts and opinions are something that you will most likely keep to yourself, and you'll likely reserve that for just you and an intimate partner, just the people you really, really trust. You're not the type to just go blabbing out your thoughts, even just simple innocent thoughts like what you're thinking at a random second, what you ate for lunch or something like that. You mostly just keep your thoughts to yourself, very private about what it is that you think and what your opinions are. You're really good at researching. You're really good at gathering the facts, gathering the evidence, searching for the truth, and just cutting through any BS, just getting straight to the truth basically. You can really easily see through other people's words and through their lies, and just even through things that you read, like whether it's like on the internet or in books, you can tell if something is real or fake or not. So you might be a person who goes around looking for the information that they need behind other people's backs. You're very curious, but secretly curious. So other people might not even be aware of what you're doing, that you're looking up information on them or finding out like their background history. So you make a really good researcher and investigative reporter. Your mind and your thoughts are just so intense. They can be very obsessive even. Once you start thinking about something and it just grabs hold of you and you become really passionate about it, it's hard for you to let it go, and you will not stop trying to search for information until you get what you want, until you find the answers that you need. Your mind is that obsessive and just intense. Your thoughts can also be really extreme. It's hard for you to have like a very simple, casual, lighthearted opinion about something, because the 8th house is all about extremes, and it's like life or death matters. So oftentimes, any thought that just enters your head, it can be very black or white. There's like no in between, and it's hard for you to just have like form a casual, offhanded opinion about something. And if you present that to the world, and if you act like it's not a big deal, like you don't really care about that thing that other people are talking about, inside you will never show it, but it's a big deal to you, and you're probably gonna be thinking about that supposedly random thought that you had. You're gonna be thinking about it for the rest of the day. And you're gonna be like thinking about it until you go to sleep. It might keep you up at night. It's that extreme. You will only share your mind with the most intimate of partners. You don't take your thoughts and your opinions casually. It's very serious for you. You will only share those things with people who will take you just as seriously as well. So if you know somebody with Mercury in the 8th house and they share things with you, just feel lucky. Feel lucky that you are being trusted with their most private thoughts. Even though to you it might be like what I had for lunch today, and to you that might not be something super private or that needs to be classified or whatever, but to them it's important. A Mercury in the 8th house person's mind can always be constantly undergoing transformations. They may go through many different periods throughout their life where they thought they held a certain opinion, but they needed to let go of it because it doesn't serve them anymore, and it's trash to them now. So they'll constantly be going through cycles of death and rebirth when it comes to their opinions, when it comes to like their ways of thinking, and even like how they learn, how they process information. So that part of their life is just constantly regenerating itself. And when you think that you know them, when you think you know how they're going to respond to something, they'll surprise you, and it'll be something completely different. You can be very much interested in deep taboo subjects, in the mysterious side of life, in just cracking the codes, solving the mystery, learning about the darker side of life, and the motivations behind why people do things, and their motivations for committing crimes. A lot of your mental activity revolves around sexuality and like learning about other people's lives and learning about your partner, and I guess trying to also learn about them intimately. So sex is another subject that you're very much interested in learning about. It can be approached from a very critical or just aloof, detached perspective. So it's just something that you're simply curious about learning. You could be a really great therapist. You could be great at healing work, helping others through their trauma, and being a psychologist, a detective. These things come naturally to you. Your mind is also not always based on what you can just see on the surface. You don't take things at face value. You do not. You are always searching for what's going on underneath the surface. There's something deeper that's going on. And so you go out to investigate, and you do your research, and you get your facts, and you cut through to the truth of the matter. You are strongly intuitive and strongly psychic because you have a way of just detecting the environment and the things that are just not seen by any other average person. You're very much connected to the spirit realm and whatever is going on like behind the veil. Your mind just goes so deep and is interested in what is hidden. It's not interested in what you can see, it's interested in what you can't see. They're able to say what is going on beneath the surface. The things that other people are too afraid to bring up or talk about, they just say it. And they can detect it. So if you're trying to hide something or just keep something under the surface, and no one is mentioning the elephant in the room, the Mercury in the 8th house person will say it, and they'll bring it to the surface. With Mercury in the 9th house, you might have many majors, or you might have explored so many different majors in college. You enjoy different university subjects, and you enjoy many different kinds of books and like books about deeper subjects, about philosophy. You enjoy subscribing to many different philosophies and maybe even contradicting yourself because you know how to see many different perspectives, and you enjoy learning about different types of truths, different types of philosophies and morals and motivations for why people do things. Maybe you don't even always take these deeper truths very seriously. It's very lighthearted for you. It's just, you see it as something to study, something to explore and just learn about. To you, it's just simple information. It doesn't necessarily have to be like the end-all be-all truth, you know. So you see that there are multiple truths to life, and you get that different people come from different walks of life, and you are able to see where other people are coming from when you travel the world, and you see how they live and what they see as right and wrong. You understand that there are so many different ethics and ways of just living your life. You might be curious about teaching. You yourself could become a teacher because you're interested in the higher mind. You're interested in what the experts have to say. You really trust your teachers, and you gain your information from who you see as a guru, who you see as an experienced guide. You might enjoy talking about the meaning of life, the deeper meanings of life, and just why we're here, and spirituality as well. You might enjoy studying about religion and just different parts of the world. Basically, your mind is here to expand. You're very much interested in philosophy and religion, and you really want to travel because that is the way that you will learn. Love to travel in order to learn. Studying abroad would be like heaven for you. Studying abroad and like learning languages, having to learn the language of the country that you're in, you know, that's something that could spark your interest for sure. Being able to converse with the locals in that country could be something very interesting for you. And you might be interested in writing a book as well. Just the 9th house rules over publishing, and so Mercury in the 9th house, you could be curious about spreading your knowledge, about, you know, not just gaining the information that you do from the experts who write those books, but also being an expert yourself and being able to share that knowledge with other people. So writing a book could be something you're interested in as well. You're a classic book smart person, along with Mercury in the 3rd house. Mercury in the 9th house could be book smart in like the college sense, in like the higher learning sense, where you know just a little bit about everything, but not just like trivial matters, but like bigger things about life and like deeper, more spiritual things about life. Your mind is just on the higher realm. It's on your mind is focused on learning things that teach you about life, like lessons about life and how to live. Not necessarily just like useful skills, useful like handy skills, or learning about, you know, math and science and stuff like that, but I guess deeper things, more philosophical subjects. Your mind is always on the future and thinking about what your morals are, what is moralistic and what is right and wrong. Your mind is always curious about those things and what is the truth. Your method of speech and your method of learning could be always constantly rooted in the truth and like speaking your own personal truth. You're here to expand your mind, and your mind is never going to be at rest. It's always going to be like looking for new things, always searching, always discovering. You need to always be learning about new truths, and once you decide on your own truth, you go on and search and travel the world and to look for more, to search for what other people deem as their own truths too, because you're very open-minded. With Mercury in the 10th house, you will probably be exploring many different types of careers. You're very curious about the world and the workplace, and how to achieve success, how to grow, how to be an adult, how to mature, how to rule the world. You will be known for your brains and known for your intelligence, your words. You'll be known for the way that you speak, whatever style that might be. However it is you choose to express yourself, that's something that you'll definitely be known for. Your reputation will be built around your speech. whatever style that is will be determined by your Mercury sign. So your Mercury sign will basically be building your reputation if it's in the 10th house. You have your eyes on the future and on success. You'll be constantly learning about how to achieve success and how to, make a name for yourself. That's something that you're very much interested in and curious about. You will definitely have a strategy for achieving success and for making a name for yourself. It's not something that you'll just leave up to chance, leave up to luck. If you have Mercury in the 10th house, you'll put a lot of thought into making your own mark in the world and building your own reputation. Your words will be very commanding, very powerful. Your words will definitely impact others on a very large scale. You could be really good at public speaking, really good at writing speeches about, you could be good at being a broadcaster and just sharing information with the world. The 10th house is that world stage. It's where other people see you and basically put out in the spotlight. It's about fame and recognition. So giving speeches could be so ideal for you because you know how to maneuver that reputation and influence other people's opinions about you through your words, through your mind. Your words can also be very masterful. You'll come across as the type of person who knows exactly what they're talking about, and your opinions are not just simple opinions, but they are you make it seem like it's the law, like you are the master of what it is that you're talking about. You seem like an expert. You seem very mature in whatever it is that you're talking about, even if what you're talking about you just learned about like 10 minutes ago. You can have that authoritative speech about you. You're able to twist and manipulate your reputation based on your speech and based on your words. You're also very vocal about your opinions, so if you have a thought, if you have an opinion, you do not hesitate to share it with others, and they will know you for your opinions. You might hold very strong opinions and you just say it loud and clear, whatever it is that you're thinking, like the whole entire world will know. It's like you want your opinions and your thoughts to be broadcasted on worldwide news. You might do really well in a writing career, along with speech, research, anything that really uses your mind and your intellect. You could also be the type of person who learns a lot from your father, learning from your boss, learning from authority figures. You put a lot of trust into learning from the experts, learning from whoever it is you deem as like the authority. And then you yourself will become an authority on that subject. With Mercury in the 11th house, you have many friends, you have many different acquaintances. You're very much community oriented. The Mercury in the 11th house, you are curious about how to change the world, how to improve society, how to make it a better place, how to keep improving, how to keep progressing, how to invent things that everybody will be able to benefit from. This is also a really good placement for public speaking. You're good at talking to a crowd and just getting them to rally together and be one unit. You want to see everybody on one team and have everybody like agree on one thing. So you're very good at that. You're very persuasive when speaking to large groups and getting them to join forces. You're very much focused on your goals and on your future. Whatever your goals are, they might always be changing. You might have very many different goals in mind, but you will have a strategy for reaching those goals and for achieving those dreams. Your mind is just so set on progress and on just improving the state of the world, state of humanity. You care a lot about humanity, and you're interested in gaining as many different perspectives as much as possible, along with like Mercury in the 7th house, the 9th house, the 3rd house. You're always thinking of others and of society as a whole. You might be a spokesperson for a community, a certain community or organization. They might choose you because you know how to speak to a crowd and be persuasive in a group setting. You're somebody who enjoys spreading news, and I think along with Mercury in the 3rd house and the 7th house, Mercury in the 11th house can have a tendency to be a gossip, just because there's that community, there's that sense of community when it comes to like how you learn and how you speak, how you spread your own knowledge and information. You're the type of person who will spread news, whether it's true or not, but that is how you thrive. It's just spreading news and information and knowledge within the group. Your dreams revolve around always learning and perhaps staying young, perhaps being a forever student, and have dreams of always remaining a beginner and never stopping your learning journey. You want to connect others, and you want to see other people exchanging information. They don't necessarily always have to agree on everything because that's not realistic, but seeing people join together through like-mindedness, through being able to learn from each other and share knowledge, that is a huge goal for you. And your friends might be very smart, your friends might be very communicative and very talkative, just very knowledgeable on all sorts of things. You might learn well from your friends and from your community. You see a learning experience through joining with others, and you probably agree that two heads are better than one. When many people are thinking together and are researching together, learning from each other, it's always so much better than just learning on your own. You're also very smart with your goals. You are a big picture thinker. You see the future as far into the future as much as possible. You don't necessarily focus on the here and now, or definitely not in the past, but on what you can improve on in the future and what progress you can make in the future. You're able to hear all sides of the argument, and you're fair that way. You are also probably really good with technology and navigating the internet. You're very technology savvy, and because technology and the internet rule over the 11th house, and those are one of the things that connect people. Those are one of the things that connect people, connect large masses of people, so that we have access to each other and we have access to each other's information and ways to share knowledge. So with Mercury and that in the 11th house, you are all about researching and gaining knowledge through technology and through the internet. And through social media too. 11th house rules over social media, so you can have a very active social media presence. Whatever it takes to reach the masses and to reach many different people at the same time. You might also be really interested in astrology, in different scientific studies, metaphysics, the new age. Your mind is just so far ahead than the rest of us. It's like when you were a kid, your mind was probably very much ahead of your time, and other people didn't really always understand where you were coming from because you were just so far ahead of everyone, and you're so inventive, so creative, and they just didn't understand that because they're in the present and your mind is just on the future. Okay, with Mercury in the 12th house, this is a very psychic, very intuitive house. It is an emotional house, and it is the house of the unconscious mind, the dream world, the spirit world. You're very private with your own thoughts and your opinions. You yourself might not even always be aware of where you stand or what your opinions are, because it is the house of the unconscious. And you might be an introvert. It depends on a lot of different things in your birth chart, but this is one thing that can contribute to that. You don't always just readily say what it is that you're thinking and what your thoughts are. You really enjoy your quiet time and your solitude. You really value that, and in your quiet time is when your mind really wanders, and when you're about to go to sleep is when your mind really wanders. So you might have insomnia, you might be awake because of your thoughts. You need time to sit with your thoughts and really mull over them and think things through before you speak. That is one mark of an introvert, is that they need a lot of time to just sort out their own thoughts first before letting it out there and letting their own thoughts be known. So sometimes you need to be alone to think, alone with your thoughts in order to learn and really process them slowly and get in touch with your deeper self, your deeper emotions. Sometimes even you need to receive a message from a dream in order to know where you stand. You're very curious about the mysteries of life, about spirituality, about things that are hidden, the things that you can't see, the spirit realm and the dream world. You have a very active fantasy life, and you're constantly daydreaming. You're very imaginative. Your mind is so creative and so imaginative. It is in that dream world where things are not always real. You can envision the things that you dream of, but you can't always experience them in true reality. You're definitely a deep thinker and a deep conversationalist. Talking to you can be really interesting because you don't just talk about everyday things. You don't enjoy partaking of this small talk. Every conversation has to have a deeper meaning. It has to have a deep subject, and you won't waste your time with just simple things, simple matters. You might also dabble with automatic writing, again, speaking, having the spirit speak through you, or just being interested in communicating with the unseen, the hidden realm. You are a selfless thinker. You don't frequently think about your own self or your own needs, your own wants and desires. You think about what everybody wants and what the world needs. Again, you're just very deep that way and selfless. Your thinking and your thoughts might come out of the blue. You're not always conscious of what it is that you're thinking and your own beliefs. It might just come very randomly, because the 12th house is all about the unconscious, and you're not always just completely aware of your thoughts. You might talk in your sleep. You might walk in your sleep as well. You're a very light sleeper because Mercury is that restless, nervous energy, and so in the 12th house, it's not always satisfied being there, because Mercury is very conscious, and it's your thoughts. It's not content with being asleep. And with the 12th house, your thoughts are asleep. What should be your resting state is very restless, and it's full of your nervous energy. It's like your thoughts are only clear when you're about to go to sleep, or when you are sleeping, which comes in the form of dreaming. You have a very active private life. You're most active within your own private self when you are alone. You act mostly when you are alone, and you speak mostly when you're alone. It's probably speaking to yourself a lot. You're able to tap into that side of you, your most private self. Again, only in your isolation is when your thoughts really come alive, and only in your isolation is when you are probably the most conscious of your own thoughts. You don't really like talking about yourself. You enjoy listening, and you enjoy receiving that information and being very receptive. But talking about yourself, talking about your own life and your own opinions and goals, it's not something that comes naturally for you. Talking about what it is that you want. You don't really like talking about what you want. You would much rather think about what the world needs, and thinking about deeper things in life. Who cares about what I want? Who cares about what I think? So that is it for my Mercury through the houses video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it, and please comment what your own Mercury placement is, the sign in the house. Let me know your thoughts if you agree with what I said, and if you want to add something as well, I'd love to hear. Please remember to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my very small channel for now. I'm currently trying to grow it, so if you could show your support through a thumbs up or through subscribing, that would mean so much to me, and I will see you again very soon.